Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Trigno again with the Chapter 5 test review. This is page 2, so problems 7 through 11, starting out with some compound inequalities. And I'm just asking you to put these things on a number line. So with number 7, the first thing I notice is that this word in the middle is and that's important. If it's and, that means that you're looking for the overlap or the intersection of these two things, which means I don't want to put both of these on the number line at the same time. I want to figure out where these things are going to cross. Now, some of you may be able to just figure that out on your own, but if you're like me, you like to see it before you actually put your answer down. So up above the number line, I'm going to show x is less than -2, which would be an open circle on -2 and shade to the left. Okay? And I'm going to show x is greater than or equal to -5. So that would be a closed circle on -5 and shade to the right for greater than. What I'm really interested in, though, is this section that they overlap. So from here to here. Okay, these two sections, or these 2 points in between those two is where I have double shading up above. So for my final answer on the number line itself, I'm going to put a closed circle at -5, an open circle at -2, and I'm going to shade everything in between. Okay, number 8. Again, I want to look at how these things are connected, and this U symbol stands for union, which is the same as the word or. So that means I can just put this on my number line and this on my number line at the same time, because I want to include everything that's in this group or this group. So this is really telling me to just shade everything between -3 and 2. It's giving you some overlap already. So I want an open circle on -3 because there's no equal bar there. I want a closed circle on +2, and I want to shade everything in between. And then x is greater than 4 over here would be an open circle on the 4, shade to the right. And so that's what that one would look like. So the ones that are ors are a little bit easier because you don't have to worry about finding an overlap. This one, number 9, is another one where you're going to have to find an overlap because that upside down U means and. So again, I'm going to do just like I did in number 7. I'm going to put this up above my number line first and then decide where they overlap. So x is less than 4 would be an open circle here and shade everywhere to the left. And x is less than or equal to +1 would be a closed circle here and shade everywhere to the left. So basically, these two are going to overlap everywhere from 1 down, okay? So everything less than 1 is where these are overlapping. So for my final answer, I'm just going to put a closed circle on the 1 and shade this whole half of my number line. All that shading sometimes looks a little messy, so I'm sorry about that. And I'm going to make sure to darken in my arrow because these two are going to continue to overlap all the way down. Okay. All right, let's look at number 10. Number 10, this is another and one. That symbol means and. So again, I'm looking for the intersection. This is telling me I want to shade everywhere between -4 and -2. And I'm going to do that up above the number line because I'm looking for my intersection. Okay, so that would be everywhere between -4 and -2. And I used closed circles on both ends because both of them had the equal bar. And then I'm going to put x is greater than 1, which is over here. However, you'll notice that these two never overlap. There's no intersection between the two of them. So for this one, I would just say this is no solution. There is no such number that belongs in this group and this group at the same time. Okay, let's take a look at number 11. This is switching gears a little bit to linear inequalities. And it's asking us to write the inequality that represents this graph and give 2 points that satisfy each inequality. So we're going to have to talk about this part in just a second. But let's start with writing our inequality. Stick to the form y equals mx plus b. And remember, use that as sort of a guide. And I always work backwards. I always start with the b and work backwards towards the y. It doesn't really matter which way you go. It doesn't matter what order you figure these things out in. I just always find that it's easiest to start with the y-intercept. So that b value represents my y-intercept, which is right here. And that is at -3 on the y-axis. So I'm going to put a -3 in there. I know I'm going to keep my x there. Now I need m. So m is my slope. So I need to pick 2 points on the line, and I'll just use the 2 that are given, even though you could really use any points you wanted. I'm going to use this point and this point up here. So to get from here to here, I need to go up 2. So that means my rise is a +2. And I need to go to the left 3. Now be careful here. If this is going to the left, that's a -3. So when I write my slope, it would be 2 over -3, which is the same thing as -2/3. Okay. Now instead of an equal sign here, I need to decide if this is greater than or less than. So for that, I look at where this is shaded. This is shaded up above the line, which means I want this to be the greater than symbol. And greater than points that way. And then I also need to decide if I need the equal bar or not. Well, if I look at my line, it is drawn as a solid line, which means I want to include the line in my answer. That means we include the equal bar. And then I fill in my y. So my inequality is y is less than or equal to -2/3 x minus 3. So that's what it's asking when it says write the inequality. Now, to give 2 points that satisfy the inequality, that means I just want to give 2 coordinates that are in the solution set. And the solution set is everything here that's shaded. So you can pick any 2 points you want.